So today we're working on our first math video, and we're starting with addition and subtraction. Now I know a whole lot of you are sitting there saying, wait a minute, Mrs. Levesque, I did this way back in first and second grade. I get it, and I'm not taking you all the way back to the beginning. I'm not going to ask you to count 6 oranges and 2 apples and figure out how many that is. The reason we're doing this, and I'll always give you a reason, is because I find a lot of times when students start in 5th grade, they can add and subtract, but they're not reliable. They're getting a third of them wrong, sometimes even a half. And so we need to make sure we have that really strong foundation. The reason we need that is because so much of what we're going to do, and some of the stuff we're going to do is tricky, I'll tell you that right now. It's built on addition and subtraction. And if you've got a problem with those skills, then we're going to struggle with all the other ones that come from there. So we're going to start with regrouping, and we're going to go through a couple of problems, and then we'll practice some more in class. I will tell you the wonderful thing about our math class is we do work in a personalized learning format. That means if you don't need a week, 2 weeks to work on this, you don't have to take that. If you show me in 2 days that you have mastered this, you can move on. If you haven't mastered it, then we'll do some more work. You can watch this video again. You can pick additional activities in class. That's part of the way we're working all year long. So let's look at this first problem. We've got 392 minus 57. And we're going to talk about place value a little bit. I think every one of you out there knows you can't take 7 away from 2. So you cross out the 9, make it an 8, put a 1 in front of the 2. But I want to talk about what happens when you do that. So when we cross out that 9, what is that 9? How much is it? It's not 9, it's 90 because it's in the tens column. So when you make it an 8, you've taken away 10. Not 1, but 10. So then when you put the 1 in front of the 2, you've brought over 10. You've taken your 2 up to 12 by adding 10 to it. Okay, so if we're looking at this column, this is our ones column. This is our tens column. This is our hundreds column. So now that we've done that, we are able to easily subtract this problem. 12 minus 7 is 5. 8 minus 5 is 3. And 3 minus nothing stays 3. We're not going to spend a lot of time at this point on adding and subtracting strategies because I think you have them, but if we need to go back later, we will certainly do that. Okay, next problem. 327 minus 82. Now, you always start in your ones column, and our ones column is fine this time. 7 minus 2, you can do that. 7 minus 2 gives us 5. But we can't take 2 away from 8. I'm sorry, 8 away from 2. So now we need to look at regrouping again. Now this time we're regrouping from that 3 up there. That 3 is not a 3. It's a 3 in disguise. What is it? I'm hoping you just said hundreds, 300. So when we take away a group of 100, we're putting that into the tens column. Count by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. There are 10 tens in 100. So when we put this over here, we brought over 10 groups of 10. We already had 2 groups of 10. Now we added 10 more groups of 10. So we have 12 groups of 10. That's like 120. Take away 80. We can make it simpler by saying 12 minus 8 is 4. And 2 minus nothing is 2. So now I'm going to give you 2 problems that I want you to try on your own. What I want you to do, what I'll normally ask you to do, we're doing this video in class, but normally when you're working at home, I'll ask you to write these down on a piece of scrap paper and bring them in the next day, so I know you've kind of gotten it. Today I'm going to actually give you answers. So 163 minus 26 and 405 minus 99. Now, I'm going to ask you to pause the video for a minute and do both of these problems. While you're doing that, I'm going to do the problems on my own, talking it through, and then you can check your answers with mine to see if you got them right. So, I'm going to cross out the 6 and make it a 5. That 60 just became 50, and my 3 now becomes 13. So 13 minus 6 is 7, 5 minus 2 is 3, 1 minus nothing is 1. Done. This one's a little bit trickier. I cannot take 5 away from 9. Can't take 9 away from 5. and I can't borrow right next door. So I'm going to go all the way over to the 4, cross it out. I've made the 400 300, so now I have 10 tens, which is 100, but I still need to go one more step. So now I only have 9 tens and 15 ones. So 15 minus 9, 6. 9 minus 9, 0. 3 minus nothing is 3. Did you get them both right? If you did, then I'm going to have you do a little bit of independent practice, and then you can show me that you've mastered it and you can move on. If you didn't, we'll work on it. Thanks for watching, guys.